What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Thank y'all for joining me for another episode of Backyard Country Living. Boy, summer has arrived in eastern North Carolina. These past couple of days have been rough, and the week ahead is not looking too good. They're talking about possible triple digits, so it's been mid-90s here the last week or so. But anyway, it's part of the territory. You know, with that comes the bugs, mosquitoes, gnats, all the good stuff that I think I'm starting to become a winter and fall person more and more. But anyway, I wanted to show you something. We are getting some benefits from the garden. Some nice hybrid sweet corn there. Fortunately, we got rain early on and you know, allowed this corn to fill out and turn out good. I've got some I planted later. It's not looking so well. Of course, you know, with this summer heat, usually get those afternoon thunderstorms, but we've been 2 weeks or better now with no significant rain, and there's not a lot in the forecast. So say a little prayer for those farmers, because especially like the field corn right now is at a point where it's got a little ear developing, and if it don't get rain, it's not going to do a whole lot. But anyway, so much for that. Enjoy that tonight. One of my favorite garden vegetables there. The subject of today's video is I got another new contraption, new toy, if you will. This is something I had been looking at and thought about getting it, but I didn't want to pay what a new one's worth. And then I got lucky and found something online that was practically almost half of what it would have been new. But it was like new old inventory or whatever. I think maybe somebody had purchased it and didn't want it, or it didn't fit, or something. But anyway, I found it online, John Deere dealership in Pennsylvania, and called the guy up, sent it right to me. So anyway, it is a Pallet Fork Grapple, as you can see here. This is a Frontier. So, of course, you know, that's the brand that's made for John Deere. And, of course, you might figure, and I knew this going in when I purchased it, after doing a little research, that it would not fit these pallet forks, because it's made to fit the John Deere pallet forks. But after looking at it and seeing how it was made, and watching a couple of other videos of, you know, it being used on John Deere pallet forks, I said, there's no reason I can't easily adapt it to the pallet forks that I have. And, you know, I'm not getting rid of my grapple. You know, I have a dual cylinder grapple that I use quite a bit for, you know, tree debris cleanup. Not getting rid of that. Still will be using that for all those projects. But this is just something, you know, probably didn't need it, but, you know, just, you know how it is with the men and their toys. But anyway, I went ahead and pulled the string on it and got it. And with a little bit of modification, I'll show you what I did. I was able to adapt it to these pallet forks. So anyway, you know, it's just going to, I think, come in handy when you're, you know, I keep the pallet forks on the tractor probably 90% of the time. If I'm out doing box blade work, mowing or whatever, and you come around there and there's a big log from a dead tree that's fell, limbs or whatever, I'll go grab it, usually with the pallet forks, and get it out of the way, instead of, you know, coming back home, getting the grapple and going back. It's convenient, but, you know, every now and then you got that awkward shaped limb or whatever. You know, you get it under the forks and wants to fall off. So I just thought this would be convenient to use in a situation, and sort of becomes like a mini grapple. So anyway, I got it, and I think so far is you're going to work out well. I think it was probably more designed for 42-inch forks. I got 48-inch forks, so it doesn't come out quite to the end here. But I got a neighbor who's a really good welder. I might at some point put an extension on there. I don't know. We'll see. Depends on how much I actually end up using it. But let me pull you in close here, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so there you can see it's driven by a single cylinder. You know, hooked to the third function there. I did have to change out the connectors on the hydraulic lines there. They were of a different size, so I did do that. Come with a nice little bracket that you can bolt on right there with a grommet there to protect your hoses and keep them secure. But you can see basically it hangs on that top rail. Got a little ears there on each side that it just hangs on that top rail. And what it was, obviously, it came up short from fitting on this bottom rail because the John Deere pallet forks have a closer, those two rails are closer together. So I ended up making me a little adapter plate. So this is the original holes, and you got a little plate on the back. I'll go around and show you with 2 bolts that go back there, to kind of pull the bottom and squeeze on this bottom rail here. But I just made me a plate, bolted onto the original holes, extended it, and then here I had to get some longer bolts, some carriage bolts there, 1/2 inch, that go underneath there, and then a plate on the back that just sort of, clamps it onto this bar here. With the John Deere, this bar here is almost just like a thin piece of angle, almost just like this front plate here. But here you got a much wider bar. So, but yeah, it wasn't a whole lot of trouble to adapt it. And if you look around back here, you'll see I actually welded a little plate on here, right up here. And because this, like I said, was made to kind of grab a piece of angle. So I welded that on, and it bolts onto this. So that just squeezes it and clamps it on there. But yeah, I've used it a little bit so far. Works really good. You got a pin right here that if you're not using it and you just want to push it to the far extreme vertical position, you got a hole right here that you can pin it in a locked vertical position to keep it out of your way. So and then you just pull that pin and store it here when you're using it. And you can easily take it off. You take these 2 bolts off, it lifts right off. Disconnect your hoses. I think it weighs close to 70 pounds. So it's not super heavy or anything. It's, and it's not gonna, add a lot of weight if you're lifting something heavy with your pallet forks. Only 70 additional pounds there. But anyway, I like it. I think it's gonna work out good for my uses. And the other thing that I liked about it, I had seen a couple of Titan attachments and a couple of others that slid over the forks. And then you had the grapple here. Maybe some of them were a wider claw than this. But I didn't like that because then, you can't adjust your forks. If you're wanting to go back and use your pallet forks for a pallet or something that you need to narrow your forks to get under, you couldn't adjust it because the other ones, came over the fork, and it was sort of a permanent position once you did that. But with this, as you can see, there's no restrictions on moving your forks all the way in or all the way out. This doesn't affect it. And it really doesn't take a lot away. You're taking, I don't know, maybe 6-8 inches if you're going up to to get something that you want to get it right up tight to the headache rack here. You are going to lose a little bit here from being able to get right up tight to it. But there again, take off 2 bolts, pop it off. If you need to use your forks in that manner to get it out of your way, it's no problem. But all right, well anyway, we'll see if we can get some footage here using it a little bit and see how it works. All right, that's going to wrap it up for the Pallet Fork Grapple. After using it a few times there on the different things you saw, I actually like it better than I thought I was. That pile of tin I moved, when I originally moved that, we took some old tin off and we had laid it on a pallet, and a few days later I said, well, I need to bring that out and put it at the barn. And of course the wind was blowing. I had 2 or 3 pieces blow off as I was moving it, so clamped that thing on there. It's not going to move. And you saw that long log that I picked up. It's kind of hard, when you're doing that with the pallet forks, it's a little hard to judge, because if it's a real long, it's going to want to teeter on you, because even if you get midway, you got more weight on the butt of it. So clamp down on it with that, and it secures it. So especially if you're you got something you need to move it a distance down the path, it's a little bumpy or back and forth, it definitely comes in handy. And you saw it's got a pretty tight grip. You got these teeth here. You saw that rock that I pretty much had it vertical hanging onto it, as well as the log. So yeah. Now the only thing, if it's something small, as you can see here, and there again, this wasn't designed for these forks. It doesn't quite go down all completely level with the forks, and then of course being vertical here, you got more of a gap here. So if you had something that was kind of thin or small, you would have to position it more out towards the end of the fork so that it would clamp onto it. But still, I think it serves the purpose, and do what I want to do. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. So if you have a set of pallet forks, it's a nice add-on to kind of give you a mini grapple without the cost. Because if you get a decent more of the better grade grapple, you're probably looking $3 grand or more. And so I ended up getting this thing for $500. I think it new was $800 or $850, so I felt like I was getting a good deal. And the fact that it was new and never been used, I think it was listed on the website as a 2021 model, but never used, not a scratch on it. So if you're wanting to add something, even if you had to buy this new, and I did have to pay $100 shipping, so I ended up with a little over $600 with tax and shipping and everything. But versus it would have probably been over $900, closer to $1,000 if I was buying it new. But even then, if you had to buy it new, you're still looking at a third of the cost, and you can get less expensive grapples. But if it's something that, if you already have a set of pallet forks, and if you don't, you need a set, trust me. Pallet forks are the greatest tool for the front of these forks. I always call it the multi-tool, and then to me just adds to that term multi-tool, giving you the ability to hold on to something that's a little odd. Maybe you're wanting to move a round barrel, and how normally you always got to tilt those forks back and get it to roll to the back to hang on to it. That still, if it's something long, doesn't keep it from teetering around, but that would work right there. So anyway, and I think the ones that are bigger and more designed, because there again, this was the one made by Frontier for John Deere. It wasn't designed for these forks. I made it work. But the ones that are designed, I'm thinking you're looking at more, maybe $1,200 range or a little more. I didn't really investigate them heavily, once I come across this one. But and again, I might put an extension on there, because this looks like we're maybe about 10 inches short of being out to the end. But I don't know, depends on, we'll see how it goes. But anyway, let me know what you think about it. Okay, well, that's going to wrap it up. I really appreciate everybody joining me. Appreciate all your kind comments that everybody leaves. And if you get a minute and you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and like, share it, and all that good stuff. And y'all stay safe and stay out of the heat, because it's, as I said before, it's rough around here. Take care. See you on the next one.